Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and I want to welcome Deception Detective to the Fight for the Truth in the Madeleine McCann case. And I want to respond to his response to my video, which is kind of fun. He just did. Let me show you the video he just put up, which was this one, how to solve a cold case. And this was I had put up a video called How Scotland Yard has Killed the Madeleine McCann Investigation. And so he went through my video and made commentary on it. And first of all, I want to say this because some people know I've had, the issue of somebody stealing your stuff on YouTube. I had a couple people who just blatantly steal my stuff, and I fought back on copyright, and it didn't go well because essentially YouTube doesn't do anything about it unless you're an attorney. He's an attorney, so if they steal his crap, he can do something about it. It's a long process, but he didn't steal my stuff, and I'll tell you why. There's a fair use thing out there, which is if you take somebody's work and you use it on your channel, but you do commentary. You're reacting to their video and doing commentary. This is an okay thing. And what he did was an okay thing. And so this is what he did. He did this. It was really, really good. I enjoyed all of it, and mostly because he was so nice to me. But and we think so similarly about the Madeleine McCann case. I suppose that does make a difference, doesn't it now? So I want to clear up a few things. First of all, one of the reasons I did, I had done this thing about the Madeline, how Scotland Yard destroyed the Madeleine McCann investigation, because somebody had written to me and sent a comment on YouTube. And said, why don't you team up with Deception Detective? Because you two would make a smashing team for going after the truth and, closing this case of Madeleine McCann, bringing justice. And I responded by saying, well, I like this guy, but I personally am at the point in my life where I'm not really fighting for justice for Madeleine McCann, because I already believe that the Scotland Yard investigation that started back in 2011 destroyed any hope of this case ever being solved properly. And so, but we have new people on the block. Deception Detective has got this wonderful channel. He does an awful lot on statement analysis, how to know when people are lying. And he's done a whole series on the McCanns, and they're really good. Okay. And I don't give out praise very easily. I'm a big fan of Peter Hyatt's statement analysis. I support him. I support Gonzalo Amaral. I support Mark Sonokonoko. Did I say his name right? Mark Sonokonokono. It's hard to say. It's a long name. From Australia, who does really great work. There's people on YouTube I do support. There's a lot of people I do not particularly support, but everybody's allowed to have their channel and speak out. But I had heard people had told me about Deception Detective and said, you ought to check out what he's saying about the McCanns. And I did, and I was very pleasantly surprised, because I think he's really good at what he does. He's very good at breaking down what people are saying and what they're really saying. So I was very pleased. And I do welcome anybody who wants to pursue more information being put out in the public about the McCann case and isn't afraid to speak out when they say, the evidence doesn't point to an abduction. It points to the McCann's involvement in what happened to their daughter. It's always a rather brave thing to do, because you can get slammed for it. But he's willing to speak up and is just doing some really, really great videos. And I've looked at his other videos as well, and I'm very pleased to say this is a person who's very good at statement analysis. And that's always nice to see somebody who is with skill out here in the world. And I like people to explain things clearly, and he does that as well. Not just give an opinion and say, well, I said so, and therefore you should believe me. But no, okay, this is why I say it. And then explain why I think this way, and what the evidence is that supports what I think. And he does a good job of that. So I do indeed welcome him to the world of, well, he used to be on YouTube. He said, welcome back. And I'm very pleased with the show, and I will be recommending it in the future on different topics. But let's go to the McCann topic. And again, he did he put my video up, and he did a lot of commentary during the video. We've come to pretty much very similar conclusions. And he said the one thing was that I hold out pretty much no hope for this case ever having the McCanns see the inside of a courtroom. And he says, well, Pat's probably right 9 out of 10 times on that, but hey, I'm going to have that one possibility. And his theory on that is that maybe somebody will rat out the McCanns. Clarence Mitchell, who works with the McCanns, maybe he'd rat them out. Maybe one of the tapists will come out. But whether that would have an impact, I still doubt. But hey, I'm happy to go with his 1 out of 10. If it's true, that's good. So I want to point out too that although I personally am not putting up a lot of videos on the McCanns these days, I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of blogs on the Daily Profiler, written a book on the case. I've spoken out many times in documentaries and on YouTube, but I'm not pursuing this on a regular basis, anything new, because I believe the case is pretty much screwed. And I'll let somebody else who has the energy to do so. But I did want to comment one thing, Deception Detective, because probably you just didn't know these things, and you weren't putting me down, but you were saying you thought that one of the reasons that I no longer pursued this was because I had enough of being harassed by the McCanns, and fighting them was very difficult. I'm not a lawyer, and when they came after me with a libel lawsuit about my book, I didn't fight back on that because they're big people and I'm not a lawyer, and so I had to sort of just give up on that. But that's actually not the way it went down. And I have no problem seeing McCanns inside of a court. I've always been willing to challenge them in that. And I'm not slowing down because the McCanns have beaten me down. It's just I have other things to do, a lot of other cases on my channel to analyze and to teach people about crime scene analysis and criminal profiling, that I just don't want to put that much time into something I think is kind of dead in the water. Not that I won't speak out once in a while, because I do, but not on a regular basis. But it has nothing to do with the McCanns beating me down. But there are things out there that cause people to back off of speaking out. And I want to show how things went with me, the actual facts behind all of this. So in 2011, I did put out a book. It was called Profile the Disappearance of Madeline McCann. You will now see this here. It is available not on Amazon, but every place but Amazon. So what happened was the McCanns did not come after me. If they had, I would have fought them. They didn't come after me. They're smarter than that. They went after Amazon. So this is what they did, was they threatened Amazon with a lawsuit, not me. This is what Amazon wrote me. Dear Pat, we have received a notice of defamation from Carter Ruck solicitors that says the content of Profile the Disappearance of Madeline McCann, updated, contains defamatory statements regarding their clients, Jerry and Kate McCann. Because we have no method of determining whether the content supplied for us is defamatory, we have removed the title from sale and will not reinstate it unless we receive confirmation from both parties that this matter has been resolved. And he kindly put Carter Ruck's address and telephone number so I could contact them and have a nice discussion. So no, the McCanns didn't come after me. They went after Gonzalo Amaral. They went directly after him. They did not come after me. They went after Amazon. So Amazon is, the problem there is that they are the quote publisher, because it's a self-pub book that I put out on this particular case. And they are looking at this going, well, you can see what I charge for this book. I want people to read it, $2.99, right? And they're going, well, we're not making a killing on this book. So we're not going to put this book out and be sued by Carter Ruck and the McCanns for some chump change, So we're a bookseller, and we publish people's books, but we don't have, our legal team does not go through the book. When I wrote my book, The Profiler, that was sold to Hyperion. So the publisher Hyperion, which is also HarperCollins, they spent a huge amount of time with the attorneys. Each one of the cases I had in the book, I had to send in tons of documentation that I really worked with the police department, that this is the evidence I had. So the attorneys could pore over it, and you'll understand that, deception detective. The attorneys could pore over it and decide whether that book was going to be, somebody was going to attack the book, say it was libelous or whatever. And so when they put that out, when Hyperion put it out, they had a legal team behind them to fight anybody. And of course, I was safe because I also had that legal team, right? With Amazon, they're like, we don't even know what's in this book. We publish a crap load of books. We never even see what's in them until somebody complains. And then we have to decide whether this crummy book that's out there is worth us going down for. We can just pull that book off the market. We aren't required to sell that book. So Amazon pulled it. I had no case that I could do anything about. It wasn't my problem. It was Amazon's problem. A lot of people asked me if I was really angry with Amazon. And there are a lot of people furious with them. They're like, how dare they do that? And I said, well, if I were them, I would have pulled my book too. Because it wasn't worth them to fight it. But I wasn't being sued. They were being sued. So that's how come I could not fight them. However, I did do this. Press release. Cease and desist letter issued to Jerry and Kate McCann, parents of missing Madeleine McCann. Jerry and Kate McCann, parents of the missing Madeleine McCann, find themselves for the first time at the other end of a potential legal action. Top defense attorney Ann Bremner, counsel to friends of Amanda Knox and the families of Rebecca Zahau and Susan Cox Powell, has issued a cease and desist letter, content printed below, in behalf of American criminal profiler Pat Brown, whose book, Profile the Disappearance of Madeline McCann, was removed from sale by Amazon following a claim by the McCanns that the book was defamatory. In recent years, the McCanns have instructed their solicitors, Carter Ruck, to send numerous cease and desist letters to people who have publicly questioned their possible involvement in the daughter's disappearance nearly 5 years ago while on family holiday in Portugal. So I did get Ann Bremner, who I've done work with before, to file a cease and desist letter against them. And to tell you the truth, so much time has passed, I'm not even quite sure what happened. Part of the problem is that they were in the UK, I'm in the US. I'm not sure if we just did that to grandstand or whether it was just a kind of a warning to them, shot across the bow. It's been more than a decade, and I don't remember much from a decade ago. But anyway, that was done. So that was my experience, my only personal experience with the McCanns coming at me directly. Other than that, since 2011, I haven't heard a peep out of the McCanns. So maybe that cease and desist letter worked. But so that's just one thing. But here's the other things that one deals with. So then I did an interview with the Sun. Now here's what the Sun wrote. Key to finding Maddie, Madeleine McCann abductor walked right past Irish family carrying the missing girl minutes after snatching her, U.S. expert says. Criminal profiler Pat Brown believes the mystery man seen with the little girl in his arms is the key to solving the case. Oh, well, no, the small paragraph, read it again. Criminal profiler Pat Brown believes the mystery man seen with the little girl in his arms is the key to solving the case. Yes, because I think it's likely Jerry McCann. But that crap up above, that Madeleine McCann abductor walked right past the Irish family after snatching her, U.S. expert said, I never said that because I don't believe in the abduction theory. I had to fight these people. There's a process in the UK, which is, it's some kind of press thing where the journalist thing where you have to go through all these hoops and file charges against them. And I did that. And I actually succeeded in getting an apology, which is quite rare, actually. And this was it. The Sun says, apology to criminal profiler Pat Brown. An article key to finding Maddie. Expert says a mystery man spotted on the night she disappears, key to solving the case. Originally had a headline which reported that criminal profiler Pat Brown believed Madeleine McCann may have been abducted by a mystery man seen on the night she disappeared. To clarify, she believes that the man is key to solving the case, but does not believe that he abducted Madeline. A version of the headline also suggested that two mystery men seen on the night might have been the same person. In fact, Pat Brown believes they are different men. We apologize for the error. That's the Jane Tanner sighting and the Smith sighting. You know how the McCanns tried to blend them together so it's the Tanner sighting was still real. I'm like, yeah, though they're different sightings. Even if the Tanner sighting actually never existed, the Smith sighting did, and yeah. So they apologized to me. So I'm like, okay, I got that off of them. One of the reasons I do very few any kind of print stories anymore is because I've been misrepresented and libeled so many times, not by people like the McCanns, but by the stupid journalism, because they want to tell their story. They don't really care what I'm saying. So they use my name and then, kind of fudge my words half the time. So I very rarely give reviews unless I trust, like Mark Sonokonokono. I trust that man because he's an honorable journalist. I will give him an interview. But a lot of these people that call him, Pat Brown, can you tell? No. And here is the next thing that happened. I did Sunday night Australian show, and that's the one that they interviewed me, and then some of my answers, they changed the question that they actually asked me. They edited it out and put a different question in, so I look like a moron. Really, and they cut my words, so it sounded like I was saying things that were libelous. And so, yes, I did fight back, deception detective again. And it says right here, Maddie McCann, this is from 9 News in Australia. Maddie McCann, criminal profiler, claims hatchet job and threatens lawsuit against 7 West. And then in the Daily Mail picked it up, U.S. crime expert who told the TV documentary Madeline McCann's parents may have hidden her body, plans to sue the program for purposely destroying her reputation. Okay, and so I got attorney Brian Close to go after Sunday night. And what happened there, what I found out, was that you can't sue Australia, someone in Australia, these companies in Australia, if you don't make money in Australia. If I made money in Australia and this had been done to me, I could sue. But because I didn't make money in Australia to speak of, nothing. I mean, I have made some money off of Amazon, Amazon Australia, but not a lot. So unless I make substantial money in Australia, I can't actually sue. Who knew? I thought that's the craziest thing I've ever heard, but that's their law. So in spite of the fact I did have an attorney and was going after them, it crashed and burned because I couldn't legally do it in Australia. But because my lawyer, Mr. Close, did put out that information and sent it out, we sent it out to the news agencies. It was picked up, and they talked about how I was screwed over by that lovely documentary news show. Yes. So that's the kind of thing that happens. And yes, I do fight back. I will always fight back, and I will always speak the truth, and I won't quit because somebody's threatening me. That doesn't happen with me. But my purpose is, I do have to examine things and say, is it worth my while? So no, I don't give out print interviews very often because they don't pay me, and I get misrepresented. I rarely do documentaries anymore because a lot of times documentary people will say, oh, we just love you, we want your opinion, but they're only setting you up as that person who's saying this, and then they have an agenda. And I did one show where I gave I did a very long interview with all the analysis of all the evidence, which they cut out the most important evidence that I analyzed so that I look like a moron. And then they brought in somebody else right after me to say that woman's an idiot. And I was set up. I got paid, but I didn't really appreciate being set up. So now I'm very cautious about any documentary I ever do. I have to absolutely know I'm not going to get stabbed in the back. Or I'm being brought in as a criminal profiler for, let's say, I've done a few series recently on serial killers, and I know I'm their expert, so they're not going, there's not going to be a side I'm on, so it'll go well. I was the host of a Cleopatra series for Discovery Channel. I was the host and profiler for the show. They're not going to stab me in the back. But when they have these things where, do you think this person is guilty or innocent? You're like, are we going to have a fair-minded show where we can give our opinion without, you doing something to us? If we don't know which side you're on. And so I'm very cautious about that. If I don't trust you, I don't do it. I don't need the money that bad that I got to go and, take that kind of risk for what? And, so I've reached a point in my life where I do what I think is most useful. And that's why I have this YouTube channel where I teach people about criminal profiling, crime scene analysis, substatement analysis, and how to think. Both if you're a detective in training, you can use my show to understand how to analyze your cases better. If you're a regular person, you can, just like Deception Detective is doing, he's teaching you how to use his techniques in real life. And same thing with criminal profiling, crime scene analysis. A lot of times people watch my shows, they go, well, that was really useful because now I realize I want to get rid of my boyfriend. So, we can use, analysis is used in every walk of life. And so I always hope that whatever I teach on this channel, which is an educational channel, is useful to somebody. And that I'm happy to do. And there are definitely cases which I feel very strongly about that I will step up to the plate and talk about more than once. But I tend to lean away from, at this point in time, especially with the Madeleine McCann case, I just believe it's sort of not going to be solved. So I'm not going to put out as much effort as I used to. I've done my time, and I'll have somebody else do some new things, which is great. We have some fresh voices, fresh thinking. I think that's grand. What do I think it's going to cause the case to be, quote, solved or brought to a close? No, but I think, all right, that more information comes out. I don't mind the extra pressure on the McCanns. I really don't. But I'm just not necessarily going to be the one to do it at this point in time. So I'm not saying I'll never do it, but again, who knows? Never say never. But anyway, I just want to thank again the Deception Detective for properly using my show and doing great commentary. And I love the way you think. I'm very pleased. I love to see professionals who are good professionals. I mean, so many people out here on the internet, I watch and go, oh my God, I hope nobody's, and I see they got like, a million subscribers, and I'm thinking, but the stuff you say is so wrong. It's so off. So I'm thrilled when I find somebody that I can recommend, and I think people are going to learn from. So I'm very pleased. So yeah, it was a cool thing. And so I'm going to link his show below. Definitely check him out if you've never seen Deception Detective before. Definitely worth it. And I always point this out just for the sake of it. I don't always agree with everything another professional says, and they don't always agree with everything I say. We can even have a case where perhaps we think differently about. We come to different conclusions. That's okay. My biggest desire for any person who does these shows is, if you're going to make a statement, if you're going to come to have an analysis, please just explain how you got there. And that way people can know, oh, that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense, or, they can learn from that, if nothing else. And it's always good to have more than one voice. So thank you very much, Deception Detective. And if you're new to my channel, by the way, please do like and subscribe. That's appreciated, because the algorithm is not always so nice, so, and I am an educational channel, so it takes a little bit more to survive. Thank you very much for being here. I'll see you again.